Good evening, good evening. My name is Sabrina Brightstar. Today is April 19th, 2025, and I want to have a conversation about creation, creating. We are creator beings. Creator beings must create. So are you creating? Are you investing your time and your energy in creating? And why is that so important for your self-esteem, for your set point, for your frequency, for your vibration, for your manifestation? It's interesting because if you are a creator being and one of the core things that helps you function, that helps you fully thrive and feel alive is creating, what would be a beautiful trick to get the creator being to stop creating? Yeah, most people don't look at, most people aren't looking at, oh, well, I don't create because I was tricked into, most people aren't even thinking that. Most people aren't creating. Everybody feels good when they're creating. It's a life force that goes through you. It's that you get to the gamma part of your brain when you're in that zone, when you're creating. It doesn't matter if you're creating a dance, if you're creating a poetry, if you're creating a painting, if you're creating a delicious meal for your family or your friends. Doesn't matter what you're creating, but creator beings must create. So why are creator beings not creating? Why do you know so many people that are just stuck in the trap of going to work, coming home, doing the routine, and they're not doing anything that allows their soul, their spirit to thrive? The perfection program. What's the perfection program? The perfection program tells you you're not any good at that. Maybe you've always wanted to be a painter and you try to paint and you're like, oh my gosh, my child paints better than I do and I'm a grown-ass adult. Or maybe you've always wanted to play the piano and then you sit down in front of a piano and you try to take lessons and it feels like you are terrible at it. So what do? You have that program running. Well, I should be better. I don't have a talent. No one in my family's musical. You start telling those stories, those limitation stories that got implanted from the matrix. It's really time to step out of the matrix, isn't it? It's really time to be aware of all these programs that are preventing us from doing what our spirit, what our soul naturally desires to do. And that is create. You're a creator being. You must create. So what happens when people don't create? And maybe you've had this happen to you. I know I've done this myself. But when you stop creating, when you stop that juice, think of creation as juicy, right? The more juicy it gets, the more juicy it is, right? It's so ripe. It's so delicious. You get into the flow. Gamma part of your brain gets activated, right? Science backs this. So when you intentionally, whether because your feelings got hurt or you thought you failed at something, or maybe somebody didn't appreciate what you created, maybe the negative self-talk, if you stop creating, what are the side effects? There are side effects. The side effects are life becomes kind of gray. You feel kind of stuck. You get stagnant. You kind of get bored. You kind of humdrum. You kind of you lose that juice. You lose, that sense of vitality that you were actually producing. Your brain was producing these chemicals because you were creating. You were releasing these feel-good hormones and your body was feeling good. And then when you shut it down for whatever reason, you start to go flat. Instead of being in a colorful playground, your playground turns very gray symbolically. And then what happens? Law of momentum. Most people really miss and dismiss the importance of law of momentum. Law of momentum, you're just going to continue. It's going to grow. You're going to keep getting more of what is. That's why, and I know you've had this happen, when you do get into the zone, when you do get into the flow, when you do get excited about something, it grows, it builds, it gets more exciting. You're you have momentum going. It's growing, it's building. But the same thing happens in the reverse. When you slow down, when you're like, oh, I'm just gonna like veg out, I'm gonna scroll, I'm gonna numb out on Netflix, then the next day, the next week, right? Like you're moving less, your imagination is dimmed down, right? You get trapped temporarily, you get trapped in the matrix. And that's the design of the matrix, is not to let you remember how powerful you are. And creation, a creator being must create. So creating helps you access your inner power, your inner strength. And as a creator being, once you do start creating it, like you come to life, right? Like things become more magical, more colorful. And I've actually been doing so much writing. I don't know, but like the last 3 months, maybe I've just gotten lost in the art of writing, which I did not see coming. I was not anticipating this path. I had gotten inspired to do the 21-day frequency challenge. I woke up one day and I'm like, hey, everybody always wants to do the 75 hard challenge, which I want to do too. I always fail, but I've tried. So I thought, why don't I do a frequency challenge? Why don't I create my own? Because, I always test on myself. Why don't I do a 21-day frequency challenge to see what I'm inspired to do? And somehow during that 21 days, I went in a new direction. Like I literally dazzled myself with how much the challenge has actually raised my frequency. And the unexpected gift that has come out of it is this deep, deep love of creating through writing, which I did not expect it. So I'm spending so many hours writing. In fact, I've tried to put myself on a vacation from writing because I've just written so much, right? I'll sit down thinking, oh, I'm just going to fix this one little piece. Give me 10 minutes. And bam, 4 hours has gone by. I'm like, what? I was just working on this one paragraph. Like I was just doing this one little thing. 4 hours later, right? Which it's been really, really fun. And it helps me really understand that in the matrix, like if your power, if your source, your power, your source, your sovereignty is all fueled by your creation, right? If creating helps you source your own power, what would the matrix want? The matrix is going to try to get you to be the exact opposite. And how does the matrix put us in what is the matrix? The matrix are just beliefs, collective beliefs that we've aligned and agreed with. They're belief systems that you believe is true. So for example, a very simple, easy, understandable way to think of the matrix: you work all day in order to be able to have food, in order to be able to have a place to sleep, and in order to have a car to get you to work. So you're stuck in a pattern. And I'm not saying that maybe you have a job that you really, really like, but most people, they're not thriving. Most people, they're not doing what they love at their job. Most people are just trying to survive. And because you're stuck in this pattern of survival, of just getting food, of having transportation, of having lodging, you're so stuck in that, you don't have the freedom, you don't have the space, you don't have the appetite, the creative appetite to go do something that lights you up. And it doesn't matter what it is that lights you up. And what lights you up usually changes, right? We're a species that naturally evolves. So what lit me up 5 years ago, 20 years ago is not going to be the same thing that lights me up at this now moment. But the more I tap into my creative expression, the more I allow, the more I value and prioritize. Woo, that was the word I've been looking for. I didn't even know I was looking for that word. Is your creative expression a priority? Ooh, is that so good? Can you feel that? Can you feel that? That was a frequency. That was an encoded frequency. Let me say it again. Is your creative expression a priority? And the only person that can make it a priority is you. taking time to do things that uplift your spirit, taking time to create, to play, to express yourself through whatever modality you like, through sports, through games, through arts, through designing. It doesn't matter how you're creatively expressing yourself, but you are a creator being. Creator beings must create. I have been, as I mentioned, I've been doing all these writing, and I've been working on this one series about spiritual business, soul-aligned spiritual businesses, and it's called Start Anyway, a permission slip to begin even when you're not ready. And I found the best quote. So I don't know if you've ever thought about starting a project or starting a business or doing something like to put yourself out there, to share your gifts, your talents. If you've ever thought about it, but you're waiting for it to be perfect, the matrix, that's the matrix, keeping you staying small, keeping you in the box, keeping you feel intimidated, inferior, so you don't let your frequency shine, right? Because you're a unique frequency. Only you have your frequency. And the matrix does not want you to take sovereignty, to stand in your unique frequency and let the world experience your specialty. So I was doing this research and I found this amazing quote. And so for any of you who has ever thought about writing a book or making a painting or writing a song or performing a dance, doing anything where you kind of want to put yourself out there, but you're waiting for it to get better. You think, I'm going to practice another 6 months. I'm going to study more. I'm going to this more, whatever. And you keep waiting. This quote from this gentleman, he said, if your first launch did not embarrass you, you waited too long. Is that so good? Like if you make maybe you've wanted to write a blog and you write the blog, or you make that first video, or you do a TikTok dance, or you create whatever you've created. He's saying, if you are not embarrassed by your first attempt at sharing your creative expression, if you're not embarrassed by that, you waited too long. So what does that mean? What is he saying? He's saying, like, if you get this inspired idea, don't let perfectionism keep you from sharing your creative expression. Everybody starts as a beginner. Everybody is embarrassed by their beginning writings, by their beginning YouTube videos, by their beginning blogs or podcasts. Everybody should be embarrassed. Not that I'm not trying to promote that you should be embarrassed, but the point of the gentleman's quote is just genius. If we're not embarrassed by the first sharing, creative expression of our sharing, we waited too long. And who does it help when you wait too long? Not you, because then you don't have law of momentum working for you. Law of momentum is working against your creative expression. You know, I was talking to my son, and my son was feeling that stuckness, that stagnant, right? He's a creative being. We're all creative beings. And I know he's got a Virgo moon. I've got a Virgo moon. I understand. We've got like a lot of self-judgments. We want things, to be better. So I just know, like, his mental thoughts are slowing him down from getting to the juice. So I told him, I'm like, it's better to create badly and create than not to create at all. It's better to create badly and be embarrassed by your creation than not to create at all. Because a bad creation, an embarrassing creation, has momentum, has juice starting to flow, has creative expression starting to grow. So if we don't take everything so personal, if we remember we are imperfect beings, of course our projects are going to be imperfect. Of course our creations are going to be imperfect. Like, we're not creating to get an A+ from whomever. Who cares what anybody thinks of your creation? You're creating for you. Your creative expression needs to be a priority for you because you're a creator being, and then you get to access your own source, your own superpower, your own divinity. You get more of that. You get more confidence. You get more clarity. You get more intuition. You get more connection with all that you are because you're allowing that life force to be moving, to be moving, to be moving. Can you tell I'm so excited, so passionate? Okay, let me share some of my creations. Are you ready for some of my creations? Okay, this one is called, is that so cute? That's this is a blue bean. You know, I'm in love with the blue bean. So this is called Awaken the Rebel Within, Rewrite Her Story. And it's about the Matrix and how, and the her story is the feminine within you, regardless of your gender. It's not a book about for women. It's a book about the rebel within you is your intuition. Your intuition has been stifled. Your intuition has been blocked. Your intuition has been shut down, shamed, controlled. The Matrix, we're not in the Matrix anymore. Like, hello, goodbye, Matrix. So rewrite her story, awaken the rebel in you. So it's just some fascinating thoughts for you to ponder and some writing prompts for you to help discover, to self-reflect, what intuition have you not let express, and what does she have to say? What does your divine feminine have to share with you? And how can she help you have an even juicier life? So that's one of my creations. Okay, here's another one. This is your inner being, deepen the connection. The only voice that matters is the one within. Do you see are you seeing a thread here? So again, another transformational, is that the right word? Kind of, because they're just workbooks for you to self-reflect, like, what is your relationship with your inner being? What are you listening to the outside people? Who's guiding your life? Is ego making your choices for you? I love the ego. The ego's wonderful. But am I making my choices because I care what the peanut gallery thinks? Am I making my choices because I'm trying to be perfect? Well, that would mean my ego is running the show. Am I making my choices and my decision because it's what makes my heart sing? That would be my inner being is running the show. So just having that awareness, who's running the show? Ego or inner being? And you have choice. You have choice. You can deepen the relationship with your inner being. You can deepen the relationship with the voice within you to help you. Why? So you can have a better life. Right? Like, we're here. We're on this planet. Why not, if we're going to be here, why not have the best effing time possible? Not in like performance or bypassing or pretending. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really like learning who you are, learning how to listen to that voice within, learning how to create a life that makes you excited to wake up, create a life that the time is just flying by. And it's like, what? The whole day is over already? That went so fast. That went so fast. Okay. So there's some books you can get at Amazon under Sabrina Brightstar. I am just having a great time. I'm very happy. Tomorrow's Easter, so I hope everybody has a special day. If you have family or if you're doing something spiritually, religiously, whatever makes your heart sing. I am a fan. I am a fan of your well-being. I'm a fan of your happiness. I am a fan of breaking out of the matrix and just thoroughly thriving in your human incarnation. Thanks for listening.